Most people know the name Jeffrey Epstein. They know the headlines, the arrest, the jail cell. But what most people do not know is the full shape of the network that surrounded him. The names that never made the front page, the connections that were quietly buried, and the questions that remain unanswered to this day. This is not a story about one man. This is a story about a system, one that operated in plain sight, protected by wealth, influence, and silence. The money was there. The paper trail was not. By his mid-20s, he had secured a teaching position at the Dalton School despite never completing his college degree. That alone raised questions. From there, he entered the world of finance, joining Bear Stearns in 1976, eventually rising to a limited partnership before departing in 1981. He then founded his own financial firm, J. Epstein & Company, which he later renamed the Financial Trust Company, based in the United States Virgin Islands. His client list was described as exclusive, reportedly limited to billionaires only. Yet no one could fully explain how he accumulated his estimated $500 million fortune. What made Epstein dangerous was not just what he did. It was who he knew. His connections stretched across governments, science, academia, and global finance. He maintained close ties with figures like Leslie Wexner, the billionaire founder of L Brands, who gave Epstein power of attorney and access to his Manhattan mansion. That level of trust between two men with such different public profiles was, to many investigators, deeply unusual. Epstein also cultivated relationships with prominent scientists through his funding of the Edge Foundation and connections to the MIT Media Lab. Emails later revealed that MIT officials were aware of Epstein's legal history and still accepted his donations, sometimes routed through anonymous channels to obscure the source. The word hidden is not used lightly here. These were deliberate choices. Epstein owned Little St. James, a private island in the United States Virgin Islands, which locals referred to by a name that reflected their unease. Flight logs from his private aircraft, a Boeing 727 registered under various entities, listed names that sent shockwaves through public discourse when they were released. Among those named in various legal documents and depositions were former presidents, foreign royalty, and sitting politicians. Prince Andrew of the British royal family was photographed inside Epstein's New York townhouse as recently as 2010, a full 3 years after Epstein had already pleaded guilty to state charges in Florida. That guilty plea, arranged through a non-prosecution agreement in 2008, shielded Epstein and any potential co-conspirators from federal charges. The architect of that deal was Alexander Acosta, who later served as United States Secretary of Labor under the Trump administration. Acosta reportedly told transition officials that he had been told Epstein belonged to intelligence, and to leave it alone. The case against Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate and alleged recruiter, resulted in her conviction in December 2021, but the names of her clients remain sealed in ongoing legal proceedings. He was placed in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City. On August 10, 2019, he was found dead in his cell. The official ruling was suicide by hanging. What followed was a cascade of anomalies. The surveillance cameras outside his cell malfunctioned. His cellmate had been transferred. The 2 guards assigned to check on him had both fallen asleep, and later admitted to falsifying prison records. The medical examiner who conducted the autopsy, Dr. Michael Baden, a forensic pathologist with decades of experience, publicly stated that the injuries were more consistent with homicidal strangulation than suicide. The question is who decided it would. It does not always need to act dramatically. Sometimes it simply needs to wait, for attention to fade, for documents to be sealed, for witnesses to go quiet. The Epstein network was not a conspiracy theory. It was a functioning system, built over decades, involving real institutions, real money, and real people who made real choices. The victims were real. Their testimonies are documented. What remains unclear is not whether this happened, but who, beyond those already convicted, will ever be held accountable. When a man with connections to intelligence agencies, sitting heads of state, and the world's most powerful financial institutions dies in a maximum security facility under circumstances that defy statistical probability,